Okay, plasma treatment. Dr. Wynn sent us an article. Thank you, Dr. Wynn. We really appreciate that. But it's a study regarding plasma treatment for severe COVID ventilator patients. Is the use of plasma being considered in treating patients here at Kaweah Delta or anywhere in California?
Yes,
Okay.
not just considered, but actually done. So thank you, Dr. Wynn. I know you're on this call and you're my fountain of knowledge when it comes to the clinical side of this. So we had all hoped that hydroxychloroquine was going to be the magic pill that would transform this virus into nothing more than a simple cold or something. But that apparently has not been the case. Recent observations and studies have shown that hydroxychloroquine is actually contributing to a higher incidence of death. And so I believe that that protocol, that ability to order it in our hospital has now been removed. But the antibody-enriched plasma that is developed by extracting the antibodies out of patients that had the virus and defeated it and now have the antibodies and hopefully the immunity. We've had a lot of folks that are donating blood and having their plasma extracted for that purpose. So we have built a protocol into our Cerner electronic health record that does allow physicians to order that plasma therapy. We did administer our first treatment to a critically ill patient last week. We ended up providing 3 different treatments following the protocols that had been established, but unfortunately that patient did not survive. So I don't know if we will continue to administer the plasma therapy. I suspect that it will, but there's still a lot more to be learned from that. What is, I guess, getting people a little bit more excited is a drug that we heard very on in the pandemic called Remdesivir. And again, probably a lot like hydroxychloroquine, not a whole lot of data, not a whole lot of studies that were done. Those that were, kind of showed hit and miss, not really positive. But earlier this week, the results were released about a very controlled study that was conducted on patients using Remdesivir. And the results were very, very encouraging. And I think I've heard Dr. Fauci and other physicians talk about that they've seen that, while it doesn't necessarily cure the virus, that it greatly accelerates the time period that you can wean a patient off a ventilator. The longer you're on a ventilator, the poorer your chances are of survival. And so they're seeing that it can shorten the time on a ventilator from 3, 4, 5 days and could potentially mitigate, some of the more severe symptoms that patients are feeling. So it's going to be really interesting to follow that particular treatment. And then I don't know if I've mentioned this, but Kaweah Delta, Dr. Wynn will really like this, maybe. So Kaweah Delta has been invited to participate in a stem cell therapy trial. And I want to credit our Congressman Devin Nunes for giving this opportunity to us, because I don't think the scientists would have known anything about Kaweah Delta here in Visalia. But there's a group of veterinarians that have ties to Tulare County. I think they used to work in Tulare County at one time, large animal vets working in the dairy industry. And Congressman Nunes got to know them. Well, they left Tulare, went on to become scientists, worked at UC Davis and other places, and they developed a stem cell therapy treatment for very expensive racehorses who developed lung diseases or respiratory therapy conditions. And they successfully created this stem cell therapy that specifically targets the lungs and these respiratory conditions. Well, they now have taken that into human trials. And they may, as of today, actually got their FDA treatment or FDA approval to start the convalescent use of this stem cell therapy. And so I've been in discussions with Dr. Bob Harmon, who is the chief veterinarian that is leading this study, that is very excited about it. I've engaged a number of our physician leaders who understandably are skeptical, never seen stem cell therapy used in this manner, and there's a lot of mixed feelings about the effectiveness of stem cell therapy. But that might be something that does become available, just putting it in our quiver
Right.
of arrows, so to speak.